Greetings, metaphysicians. This episode is all about how manifestation works, and what better time to do that than right now when we are on the precipice of this new era than manifesting exactly what it is we want in the world. I share real life experiences that I've had in manifesting, both things that I've absolutely wanted and things that I absolutely did not want. We talk about the workarounds around how to do that and focusing on the positive. And I also, at the very end, share an incredibly important thing that has to do with the next step in manifestation. So stay tuned all the way through for that. I hope you enjoy it.
You are listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to Let's Get Metaphysical. I'm your host, Renata Maniaci, here to remind you that you are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. Make the most of it. This is episode 71, How Manifestation Works. And this is a really great moment for this as we are moving into the new era, the age of Aquarius. We are raising in vibration on the planet more and more every day. And so we might as well talk about how to manifest what we want to have happen. This episode is brought to you by the manifestation queen herself, Ascended Master Lakshmi. Thank you very much, Lakshmi, for bringing this episode through to us. Before we jump in, I would like to again share with everyone my free gift to all of you, all of my listeners, should you choose to accept that. I have created the Let's Get Meta Master Clearing for you. It is free. All you need to do is go to letsgetmeta.com and click on Master Clearing, and it will be sent to your email. We've had some really great feedback from it already, and it's my gift to you. I want all of you to help raise in vibration. It is all about clearing blocks to anything that is blocking you from understanding spiritual truth, interacting with the positive aspects of metaphysics and spirituality and the divine, and I hope you enjoy it. So check that out at letsgetmeta.com. Masters and angels, I request that you be present for this episode and help us all to feel the truth, know the truth,
Metaphysical.
sense the truth, and be the truth. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. Bless creation. And with that, let's jump right into the episode. Are you ready? Let's get meta. In this moment of truth that we currently find ourselves in, it occurs to me that because we are at a turning point, because we are at a tipping point, a precipice, a change so big, the world hasn't seen something like this in many thousands of years. I'm reminded that now is an extremely important time for manifestation. And what do I mean by that? I mean, how do you want the world to be? What kind of world do you want to live in? And I'm sitting here early in the morning with the morning doves and my green unicorn pajamas and recognizing that I've never done an episode on manifestation specifically, or how to manifest. And we are at this most crucial point right now in which every single being on the planet who is going to remain and be here for this entryway, this new era, this rising of consciousness and new way of being on the planet has almost a responsibility, almost a duty, but certainly the honor of being able to help to create that and help to manifest that. What kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of day do you want to have? Where do we want to go together as a people, as a society, as a country, as a world? How do we want to be treated? How do we want to treat others? Now is an incredibly important time to start or continue envisioning this and visualizing this. So I wanted to talk about how manifestation works. To the best of my ability, I feel like I do have some good insight on this. And I'll give you some examples along the way too from my own life. The biggest thing that I have come to understand, especially in the last 10-ish years, is that you always, always, always want to focus on what you want and not what you don't want. You always call in, visualize, speak, draw, think about what it is you want and never what you don't want. Because I learned an interesting way that the universe will listen to you whether you're asking for what you want or whether you're saying what you don't want. But the universe doesn't hear the negative. They just say, oh, this? Okay, here you go. What you think about and focus on manifests is an easier way to say this. If you're focusing on something or fearing something or wanting something to happen or afraid that something will happen, etc., whatever you are focusing on and putting energy into is like a big beacon to the universe, and that is what the universe reflects back to you. So focus on what you want. Think about what you want. Draw what you want. Write about what you want. Talk about what you want. Build what you want with Legos. All these different ways of amplifying your desires and hopefully your positive desires to the universe and making it known that that is the direction you would like to move in. And there's other things that go into this too. There are other factors that play into this. You can focus all you want and draw all you want and talk about it all you want and meditate on it all you want and ask for it all you want. Ask your guides, and that's a huge part of this too. And there are different factors coming into play about when that thing will manifest for you or whether it will manifest for you. And a lot of that has to do with deservability, which is a hard word for a lot of people to hear, and your karma. Where are you in your levels of deservability to achieve the things that you want to achieve? What have you done to do that? What positive energy have you put out into the universe to help to make that thing or those things come to pass that you want? Do you deserve it? Is it time for you to manifest what you want karmically? Karma is a whole nother thing. Karma simply means action. It doesn't necessarily mean bad action. A lot of people in society use karma as like a, well, karma's gonna get ya kind of thing, like it's a bad thing. It's not. It just means action. And it can mean good action, positive action. It's kind of like what you put into your life, to your relationships, to yourself, to your purpose. That's what you get back tenfold. It's a law of the universe. I should go deeper into these universal laws at some point. Actually, that would be a good way to continue the season potentially. But karma is not a bad word. It simply means action. And are you at the point where you can get a return, a positive return on any good actions that you have done? And luckily, there's a way to help with that, a really easy and actually right now free way to help with mitigating and elevating your karma. It's called karmic repair. This is a John Douglas process. It's about 17 minutes long. And right now, and actually for the past several months, because of the state that the world is in right now, there have been every single day a moment in time where there are free karmic repair processes that you can listen to, you can tune into. And there's 3 every evening if you're in the United States part of the world, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can tune into these for free just by going to globalrepair.com. globalrepair.com and tuning in, and you can listen to one or you can listen to all 3. And this is coming through right now because it's such a beautiful way to clear the slate for you to manifest what you desire and to move in the direction that you want to go for yourself, for your family, etc. And when they started playing karmic repair, at first it was once every evening a few months ago, and then they upped it to 3 just because so many people, the more people that do this, the more goes out, and it actually helps the world. That's why they named the website Global Repair. So it's a huge 2-for-1. Not only are you intentionally helping to mitigate the karma on the planet right now, at the same time you're helping to mitigate your own. So it's a huge 2-for-1. So as I'm talking about manifestation and calling in what you want and your deservability and your karma, and maybe you're getting, a feeling in your stomach like, oh gosh, what's my karma? Here is a way, at least right now, I don't see it ending anytime soon, that you can tune in for under 20 minutes a day and literally help pay down any negative karma that you have incurred. And at the same time, help the world to mitigate karma as well. So check that out, globalrepair.com. So deservability, karma, and on some level, your destiny, your purpose for being, what you came here to do, your life path, your blueprint. So often, especially the more we become aligned to our divine purpose, our desires, the things that we want, start to align with our purpose, our reason for being here. And so as that starts to happen, what I've found is that these things that you want do come to pass at the right time, especially if it is aligned with your purpose. If it has something to do with helping you to achieve what you came here to achieve. So another way to say this is, if it is your fate or destiny to have a thing or do a thing or meet a person or buy this house because it's going to help you with your purpose and fulfilling your divine role here in this lifetime, that often aligns at the perfect time given all of these other factors, and will manifest for you if it is meant to be in that way, in that sense. And I don't pretend to know all of the cosmic secrets of the universe by any means, but I have definitely experienced these myself over and over and over again. So if you want to play with this, if you want to try this out, I do recommend write down anything that you really want to bring in. You can start with one thing if you want. And I once had a mentor say, try it with something weird, like something a little bit off that you do want, but that if it's kind of a little bit out there. So if it happens, you'd be like, whoa, this works. So you can do that too. But personally, I like to draw. I'm not good at drawing, but I like to draw the things that I want to bring in. I like to write them down. I like to talk about them. And these are just all different ways, different modalities, if you will, of speaking your intention or revealing your intention and desire to the universe so that the universe can do its thing. And if you are deserving and the time is right karmically and it's aligned with your purpose, at some point, those things will manifest. That at least has been my experience in this lifetime. And so I want to share a few examples of this. Here's a recent example. About just over a year ago, we moved to a new part of Costa Rica, and we were looking around. We were living in a temporary space, looking for a more permanent space, and we came into this town that was being built on the beach. And I walked in, and it's a car-free town. You park your car, then you walk into the town, and I immediately fell in love with it. My mind was completely blown at the beauty that even somebody tried to do this here in Costa Rica. I felt inspired, and I knew that I wanted to live in this town. And I also knew that I couldn't at that moment financially. And so at some point, we found a place to live, really nice place that we enjoyed. And at some point we went back to this town, and I went to the sales office and grabbed a few of the pictures of the homes that were being built and for sale, the blueprint or the sales papers or pitch or whatever. And we hung them on the wall where we were living. And that was in February of 2020 when we did that. And so we looked at them every day, and even by looking at your drawing or, something like this, you're giving it energy. You're literally putting energy into that thing because you're looking at it every day. And so it was on our wall, and we were looking at it every day. And then come June, and thanks to a silver lining because of COVID, this town offered the opportunity for more people to move into it at a lower cost because nobody was able to come in or out of the country for a really long time because of the borders were closed due to COVID. And so in the middle of July, we were able to move into this town where I am now. After less than 6 months of truly, having the thing on the wall and looking at it every day and manifesting it. And a lot of factors play into that, right? On some level, this is aligned for our purpose, is to be here and to be in this community right now. On some level, we must have been deserving to be in here. And the world has arranged itself in such a way that it didn't take that long from the first time I saw it to when we moved in is less than a year. And the first time I saw it, I thought, okay, maybe this is a 5-year plan. This is just one example. And hopefully you are thinking of examples in your own life right now that you can look to see, wow, I was really focusing on this and then it happened. And you can let that be a guide for you. I have a lot of examples like this. I'm just realizing now that some of these examples really have to do with outer things in the world happening that would be maybe considered to be not positive things. So like, for example, COVID-19 probably wouldn't be looked at as a positive thing to most people. And I'm not saying that it is necessarily for me, but it did contribute to me manifesting this situation. I had another such example a long time ago when I was going into college for the first time. I enrolled at Tulane University, and I was really excited. That's in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was really excited to go. And whenever I looked forward into the fall of when I would be there, I didn't see myself in New Orleans. And I have this kind of foresight thing. And I didn't see myself in New Orleans. I saw myself at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. And so what you have to know is that Brown University was my dream school. I wanted to go so badly, very, very badly. A lot of energy and time was focused on wanting to go to that school. And I did not get in. And my second choice was Tulane. And so I enrolled and was all ready to go. But whenever I looked forward, I saw myself being at Brown University, and it didn't make any sense. So I go down to New Orleans. I'm there for a whole beautiful pre-orientation for the whole week before the regular orientation started. Only a handful of my class did that, maybe a couple hundred. And it was a really beautiful week, and I was there and moving in. And then we got the word that Hurricane Katrina was heading for New Orleans. And most of you who are of my age know what happens with that. And what ended up happening is that my whole first semester of college, I was at Brown University for my first semester of my freshman year. And no, I do not think I manifested a hurricane for that to happen at all. And somehow that still occurred. And what that shows me, looking back and looking at all of these examples in my life, is that a variety of factors come into play to bring you what you want. And in many cases, it's what you need. So, though I know I did not have anything to do with the hurricane going to New Orleans or COVID-19 being a thing, the universe has interesting ways of using the factors at play that must be at play for whatever reason. If you happen to believe and know that there is a reason for why things happen on this planet. And it uses these factors and these different karmic instances and situations and deservability and your reason for being and purpose, and gives you the perfect soup, the perfect stew of conditions that may or may not manifest to you what you want or what you need. And it works the other way too. And I just wanted to go into that for a minute. If you're focusing on something so intently that you don't want, or you have over a long period of time decided that there's something that you don't want in your life, and you're vocal about it, and you know it, and you feel it, and all of these things you just know, you're also calling that into your life because of the energy that you place on it. You're also calling that into your life. So be careful. This is why I say only focus on what you want. And I had to learn this a very interesting way. And I'll share that with you. From as long as I can remember, even as a child, I, for whatever reason, had the knowing, I'll call it a knowing for this moment of the story, that I did not want children. I did not want to have a child or raise a child. And this has been part of my personality. I mean, those of you who are listening that may know me have known that this has been was a huge part of my personality my entire life. And some of you listening may know that I am, in fact, now helping to raise a child, my partner's child. And so it was a very clear moment when this started to happen. And the universe came in and my guides came in very clearly to show me how much energy I had put into saying over and over what I didn't want, that I didn't want to raise kids, I didn't want to have a child, etc., etc. And how it didn't matter that I didn't want it. I was putting so much energy on it that I was actually helping to manifest it. And now this, comes to another point, which is the universe is so divine and well orchestrated that it will give you what you need in a lot of senses. So I can see very clearly now, even though I was so resistant to the situation, I can see so clearly now what it is giving me and how it is actually helping me to leapfrog over and learn some of my lessons that I literally came to learn in this lifetime so much faster through being in this situation. I'm not saying it's easy all the time, but it's certainly and obviously something that I needed to experience, and it is fully helping me to achieve my purpose faster than I would have without it. So there's a lot of twists and turns in this kind of talk, in this manifestation talk, because we do tend to receive what we need from the universe. We do tend to be given the opportunity to overcome our lessons and experience our growth lessons as well, whether or not that's what we're asking for. But in terms of how to manifest, just to wrap up, definitely always focus on what you want, only what you want. And you can help to make yourself more worthy of what you want. One of the best ways that I know how to do that is through karmic repair, which you can find at globalrepair.com, at least right now at this recording. So go out there and manifest the world that you want to see, because right now really is a moment of truth. We are at a turning point. And we need all of us to go out and visualize what we want. What do we want? I want to see people's smiles again. So that's something that I would draw or visualize or talk about, for example. So thank you for listening today, and I hope that you go out and manifest whatever it is you want to see in the world, and may it be fully aligned with your divine purpose. Bless creation. Thank you all for joining me on that journey of how manifestation works. Of course, that is a little mini course given my experience and my knowledge on this topic, and it is definitely not all there is to it. And in fact, there is another huge part to manifestation that I'm going to go into in the next episode. And that is all about surrender and the importance of surrender and the power of surrender. And people don't talk about that enough. So I'm looking forward to next episode, and I hope you'll join me there. Please again, check out my free gift to you, the Let's Get Meta Master Clearing at letsgetmeta.com. And thank you so much for listening. I'm going to leave it there. I send my love to each and every one of you. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up, and Awaken production. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. The show is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci, co-creator of Up, and Awaken Productions, a platform devoted to creating conscious content to assist in the awakening currently taking place on this planet. If you want to see more from Up, and Awaken, please subscribe to the Up, and Awaken Productions channel on YouTube. If you're looking for more support in your awakening process, please consider becoming a member of our Up, and Awaken community on Patreon. Patrons in this community both give support to the conscious content that we create, like this podcast, and receive support in their awakening via the community's offerings, including courses, live group healings, and an interactive community. You can join the Up, and Awaken community by visiting patreon.com/Up, and Awaken. Subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Give us a 5-star rating or write us a review on your podcast app. To learn more, visit our website at letsgetmeta.com. The Let's Get Meta podcast is almost entirely listener supported. If you love the show and want to support it, you can still become a patron of the podcast at patreon.com/Up, and Awaken. We appreciate all types of support. It helps keep this show going. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta. Metaphysical. Let's get meta. Metaphysical. Let's get meta. Metaphysical. Let's get meta. Metaphysical.